Graduates of 2026.
Hi, everybody. How we doing? We doing good? Yeah. All righty. Sorry guys, please don't everybody sit down just yet. We're gonna need to rise up and stand for the national anthem. Alrighty, flag's right there, guys.
Good afternoon. Welcome to the graduation of Utah Virtual Academy class of 2026. Graduates, look around you, because for some of you, this is the first time you've seen each other with cameras on. The person sitting next to you may live one neighborhood over, 3 hours away. You may have never met them before today, and yet you've been walking the same road for years. Before I go any further, I want to acknowledge some special guests on stage with us. We have board members Dallin Drescher, board chair. We have Kristen Davidson, vice chair, and Kelly Openshaw, board member. I'd also like to recognize Stacy Hutchings. She is the executive director of the State Charter School Board. That board is our authorizer. They're the reason the school exists and the reason it's held to a standard. All right, now to the people that made this day possible. Parents, grandparents raising grandchildren, aunts, uncles who stepped in, foster and adoptive families, older siblings who became second parents, guardians, friends who became family when family was not available. If you are the person your graduate called when things got hard, this is for you. In a traditional school, you drop a child off at a building. You trust the school to take it from there. You did not do that. You chose a school that walked into your home every day. You sat through hard math problems. You sat through harder conversations. You were the learning coach before it was a job title. You celebrated quietly when no one else saw the breakthrough. What each of you did is not the standard model. It's something more. Your graduate is not sitting in this cap and gown without you. Thank you. To our staff, to the teachers who taught their hearts out through a screen, to the mentors who texted back a student at 9:47 on a Tuesday night because that's when the text came in, to the counselors who built the schedules, rebuilt them, and rebuilt them again. Virtual education only feels personal when the people behind the screen choose to make it personal. You chose to do that every day for these 202 graduates. Thank you. All right, let me tell you a little bit about our 202 graduates of a class of 2026. You all came from 79 different cities, 27 different Utah school districts, from Bluff, from Brigham City, from Enterprise, from Eagle Mountain, from Marysville, from Kearns. Public education was built on a promise that a child's zip code would not decide their future. A virtual public charter school is one of the ways that promise gets kept in places the traditional system cannot reach. These 202 graduates are proof of that promise. This class has done some remarkable things. We have 185 CTE concentrators who completed full career and technical education pathways in fields like business, healthcare, IT, and engineering. Hundreds of college credits were earned through concurrent enrollment while still in high school. 71 have been with Utah Virtual Academy for more than 5 years. 11 of you have been here for 10 or more years. And three have been at Utah Virtual Academy all 13 years, kindergarten to right now. "34 are graduating with high honors or honors, 5 with perfect 4.0s, and 11 are members of the National Honor Society. And next year, this class scatters into every direction possible. We have 69 that are going into higher education programs, 52 to technical and trade schools, 12 to apprenticeships, 6 into military service, 8 on to religious or service missions, and many directly into full-time work. Before we move on, there's also one more group I'd like to acknowledge that is not here today. We have 240 seniors graduating at other brick and mortar schools that took at least one class as a part-time option through Utah Virtual Academy. Graduates, you ready? This part's for you. For every one of you, or someone who loves you, looked at the standard path and said, this is not right, we need something else. Some of you came here because you were chasing something extraordinary, a sport, a stage, a craft, a calling that needed something different than a regular school day. You trained, you traveled, you performed, and you graduated. It's not a compromise. It's 2 full-time pursuits at once. Some of you came here because you needed a comeback. Maybe a freshman year, let's just say there's just a little room for improvement. Maybe again the sophomore year. And maybe somewhere along that way you decided what you wanted for your future and you're here today. We're sitting here watching that final episode. Whatever it was, UTVA was the place where you could finally take a full breath and just learn. In a brick and mortar, the structure does that work for you. The bell rings, you move. The teacher stands up, you sit down. A friend hands you an assignment you missed. The system carries you. Online, none of that exists. The bell does not ring. Nobody walks by your desk and notice your head is down. The Canvas page does not care that you logged in today, which means everything you accomplished is because you decided you wanted to. You learn to manage your own time without someone standing over you. You learn to write, really write, because in our world, that's how you express yourself. You learn to read carefully, to figure it out when there's no hand to raise. You learn to ask for help across the screen. You learn to keep going on days when no one would have noticed you stopped, and those aren't soft skills. Those are the most valuable workplace skills in a modern workforce. Every employer in this country is begging for people that can manage themselves, who can communicate clearly in writing, who can work without being micromanaged, who can show up consistently when no one is checking. A society depends on people who can think independently, who can read carefully, who can hold their own when there is no authority figure in the room telling them what to do. The habits you built here are not just career habits. They are habits that a community runs on. You've been practicing those skills from the first day you logged on. So here's what I want you to hear. When you walk into that university classroom this fall, you already know how to learn from a syllabus. When you start that job, you already know how to meet a deadline. When you put on a uniform, you already know how to follow through when no one is watching. You did not take the easy path, you chose the right path for you, and you finished it. Congratulations, class of 2026. Welcome to your graduation. We have a great lineup of speakers. Next up, we'll have Zachary Call, our valedictorian, followed by Camille Fisher, our salutatorian.
Hi, everybody. How are we doing? Alrighty. We're here. 13 years of homework, early mornings, and sacrifice. My name is Zachary Call, and it is my honor and privilege to have been selected as valedictorian and to deliver a message to the graduating class of 2026. I'd like to begin by thanking my family for cheering me on through the good, the bad, and the ugly. It is with their love and encouragement that I'm standing here today. I would also like to thank my close friends for their support. Without it, I don't believe I'd be the same person I am today. I believe the graduating class of 2026 owes a round of applause to all those who have supported us. Let's hear it. Let's let them hear it. Yeah. Now, what these years have taught me. Throughout high school, I've had the pleasure of holding several active leadership roles, be it within student body officers, National Honor Society, or on my various sports teams. These roles taught me many valuable lessons, but perhaps the most valuable was that compassion and understanding will prevail above all. To be able to freely give your support and guidance to someone who may think or act differently than you, now that's true strength. In terms of perseverance and resilience, I'm certain that we've all had to grit our teeth and power through obstacles, but those obstacles are merely tests of how much we can handle before we give up. When faced with problems, there will always be a solution, and if not, a more desirable outcome. The roads of life will bring us many obstacles. We each have to find the strength to face them head on. The graduates in this building are all likely going on their separate ways, whether into a trade, a family business, athletics, college, or something else. But we all share the bonds of struggle. I implore you all to accept that sometimes you can't figure things out on your own. Sometimes issues require a fresh perspective, and asking those that love you for assistance can be the only way to fully understand the situation at hand. In closing, I wish you all a lovely future. Graduates, at the end of the ceremony, don't just rush out the doors to go and celebrate. First, I urge you to make your way to and thank those that you love for their support and guidance all these years. Because none of us made it here alone. Thank you all so much.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Camille Fisher. It's an honor to be here as salutatorian. I'll admit it's a bit strange seeing everyone here in person, not just in the yearbooks or over the computer. It's a shame our pets aren't the ones graduating. We ain't got no good excuse to bring them along. I'll have to just settle for saying when looking through the yearbooks in 20 or so years again. It's honestly really incredibly impressive that we are here. So much has happened during our school years, both in the world around us and in our individual lives. I personally struggled quite a bit with procrastination, especially with the longer essay assignments. Yet the teachers at UTVA were always really kind and understanding, always willing to go out of their way to offer me guidance and support that is vital in getting me where I am today. And so thank you to the teachers here and those that aren't here in person for taking time out of their busy schedules to help me get here and to help all of us get here. And thank you to my mother and my siblings for being willing to answer the many random questions I've asked for different assignments over the years. While the future may not be set in stone and our ideas are not yet settled, I hope everyone here is able to achieve the dreams that they have, whether that's the dreams they have now or the ones they discover later on in life. So a final thank you to everyone here, to the parents who help support, to the guardians, to the siblings, to the friends, and to the students who push through the stress to make it to success. I hope everyone has a wonderful night. Thank you.
Tonight, our keynote speaker is Dr. Sean McAlmont, who is the Chief Executive Officer of the Collaborative for Higher Education Shared Services. Sean McAlmont.
Good evening, everyone, and thank you, Executive Director Meredith. It's truly my honor to be here. Speaking at a commencement is one of my favorite things in life to do for a number of reasons. So bear with me while I tell a couple of stories and give the graduates some words of advice as they move forward. So good evening, graduates, faculty, staff, and guests. I am very, very pleased to address you on this special day, and I'm honored to offer a heartfelt congratulations to each and every one of you that's graduating today. Thank you, Zachary and Camille. I think your remarks were inspiring, and actually reading your backgrounds and accomplishments tells me exactly why you were selected as representatives of your class. And so well done. I think your futures are bright. Again, my name is Sean McElmont, and I'm so deeply proud to see all of you here dressed in cap and gown tonight. You represent the fulfillment of the mission of this great institution, and you represent the reason that Ms. Meredith and each one of these good people on the staff who manage this great institution come to work each day. You know, your goals and dreams are realized on this day, and their goals and dreams are represented in your accomplishments. You know, today, as Ms. Meredith said, I serve as a CEO of an organization that helps colleges advance their technologies and services. And I really do love working at the intersection of education and technology and setting goals for the future of learning. I'm really a goal setter by nature. So it makes me think back to a time when I was much younger, and I remember settling in and setting goals for myself at a very early age that in retrospect seem very simplistic today. One of my earliest goals was to wear nice clothes. And another one of my goals was to have a family. Oh, and there was one more goal, and it was simply to be handsome. So I know many of you are saying, hey, Sean, 2 out of 3 ain't bad. I know if my mom was here, or my wife, they'd give me 3 out of 3. But you know, while growing up as a youngster in Toronto, I was physically an active kid. I was always running and jumping, and I had one goal in my life at the time, and it was more like a dream. And it really consumed me, and that goal was to participate and compete in the Olympics. Well, fast forward many years, and that dream eventually led me far away from home to an athletic scholarship to Brigham Young University, which is right down I-15 from here, where I became a Division I track and field athlete, a conference champion, and a BYU team captain. As a sprinter and hurdler, you're always running full speed, you're clearing hurdles, and sometimes you clear those hurdles smoothly with rhythm and speed. You're fast and confident and always improving. And as Zachary said, sometimes you hit those obstacles in life, and sometimes you hit one of those hurdles and you can hit them hard. Before my senior year at BYU, I had already qualified to be a member of the Canadian Olympic team. And at that point in my life, again, the Olympics were a focus of mine and a part of my ultimate goal of making that team. Everything I had done to that point, every workout, every sacrifice, every early morning, pointed toward that moment. But realism always is there. And I had developed an injury in the tendon at the bottom of my foot, which progressively became worse. So at the NCAA championships that year, held at the University of Oregon, I remember that the Canadian Olympic Federation had called me, and they actually asked me not to compete there for BYU because they were concerned that that injury would become worse and I would miss the Olympics. But I was committed to my BYU team and my coaches and my scholarship, and so I ran. And during that race, the tendon actually severed. I then hit a hurdle, I hit it hard, and I fell. And not only did that moment affect my NCAA performance, but it ended my opportunity to compete at the Olympics that were only a couple of months away. At that time, I felt like my entire world had crashed. But I remember laying on the track devastated. and I was depressed in that moment, because sometimes you only get one chance at an Olympics. And I remember thinking, how could this happen? Everything that I had prepared for was for this goal. But as I laid there on the track, looking up at the sky with tears in my eyes, a surreal thing happened, and the entire stadium went silent. And I'm pretty sure they were reacting to maybe the extent and what type of injury it was. But then something unexpected also happened. When I stood up, the crowd gave me a standing ovation, but not for winning and not for setting a record, but for getting up. And then I limped toward the finish line. I remember I had to make my way over that final hurdle in front of thousands of people while they continued applauding until I crossed the finish line. And at that moment, I learned something that I've never forgotten. Sometimes the goal, the achievement, and the true victory is simply getting back up and finishing. Amazingly, years later, I came across a story called The Race, and it's about a young boy running in a long-distance race, and he begins the race by believing he can win, and throughout the race, he has some issues, and he stumbles and he falls, but he gets up, and he struggles through that race, and it's heartbreaking as he runs in last place. Meanwhile, he can see the other runners finishing ahead of him, and as the story reads, the runner who won the race, no falling, no disgrace, while when this boy crosses the finish line, embarrassed and exhausted, to hear the crowd at that moment, you would thought that he had won that race. Sadly, after the race, he found his mom in the crowd and he said, "I didn't do too well," to which his mother said, "Son, to me, you won that race because you rose each time you fell." And amazingly, it was so close to my own experience, but this is life. The story or the metaphor of falling and getting up repeats itself because every person in this assembly here today has faced life's hurdles and has stumbled or fallen. Some of you faced academic struggles. At times, you battled anxiety or loneliness. You faced family challenges or financial hardship or even uncertainty about your future, but you overcame it. When you stumbled, you got up. You continued and you finished. And that matters more than you realize in life. And I think because of your determination and the support around you, as we've heard so much from our other speakers, they encouraged you to get up. And here you are, dressed again in cap and gown and celebrating one of life's momentous occasions. It's an achievement that we strive for in the earliest phases of our life in high school graduation, and you're poised for many other successes in your life. You worked hard and you earned it. Abraham Lincoln once said, "I will prepare and someday my chance will come." And graduates, your preparation has already begun. I think every challenge you faced, every assignment, every academic victory, and every one of the obstacles that Zachary talked about, you've cleared them, and you're prepared for what comes next. There are more challenges ahead waiting for you to conquer. And I think the world is changing right before your eyes as technology plays a bigger and bigger role in what happens in the future of this country and for the world. If you're going to college, understand the rules around new technology and how to use it. If you're choosing to enter the workforce, learn the systems and tools that others are afraid to touch. And if you're taking a gap year, keep up to date in it. The people who succeed in this next era will not be the people who resist change and challenge, but the ones who adapt intelligently to it. I'm excited about your futures, and I can see in your eyes tonight that you're ready. The excitement of this moment is here, but importantly, I can see the potential and the many opportunities of success in a changing world sitting right here in front of me. You all have a challenge and a chance to make a real difference in this world, and I think you should go for it. As Ms. Meredith said, this is a special day not only for the graduates, but also for the faculty and the staff of this school as well. And I know they are honored to celebrate this accomplishment with you They've spent many long hours in preparation for this one moment, and I can say without hesitation that your teachers are at the heart of your success in graduating. William Arthur Ward, who was a celebrated educator, said, "The good teacher explains things, the superior teacher demonstrates, and the great teacher inspires." And I think many of you have been inspired by this faculty, and you will pursue your career with vigor, and you in turn will inspire others down the road. And it's true, I mean, teachers can be tough on you, and at times it may seem like their expectations were unrealistic, but look at where you are today. It may have seemed like it wasn't achievable, but you took the challenge and achieved it. And to the parents, guardians, friends, and family of the graduates whom we've all recognized this evening, you trusted this institution with your prized possessions, and hopefully they've added to your natural sense of pride. So this is also a special day for you. I wanted to share just a quick story about support, and it is short, but I think it's meaningful. And it's a great short poem called "The Sense of Geese," and some of you, I think, have heard it before. But it describes why geese fly in a V formation, and it describes how each goose flaps its wings and creates uplift for the birds that follow. It allows the whole group of birds to fly 70% further than if they flew alone. And it's amazing, it's an amazing statistic. And I think this is the key concept of a support group and a fantastic analogy for all of us. We fly further with support than on our own. When one goose falls out of formation, it immediately feels the drag of flying alone, and it falls back into the formation. And if you hear honking, the honking is done by those in the back to encourage the ones up front to keep going. And amazingly, when one gets sick or needs to land, or it's wounded, others drop out of the formation and go down with it to protect it. They stay with it until it's ready to fly out, and only then will they move out again together in a V formation. So whether it's your family or your friends, you had support from your flock in achieving this moment. So be sure to take time today to adequately thank those in your V formation tonight. And again, thank you to all the friends and family who have supported these fine students through this achievement. In closing, today, the goal of this ceremony is to honor you in this important moment, but also to motivate you to go on and do great things, and to keep on learning, and to be grateful for those who got you here, and most importantly, to be proud of this accomplishment and have it serve as the foundation for the successes to come in your lives. So graduates, as you move into your next chapter, remember that when life places another hurdle or obstacle in front of you, and it will, get over it. Get through it and move forward. If you stumble, refuse to stay down. Keep setting goals, achieve the small ones, and that will lead to the bigger ones. And never underestimate what's possible when you consistently do the difficult things in life. So tonight I've shared a few stories, and you've heard about hurdles, the Olympics, the boy who fell, geese, Abraham Lincoln, technology, and my foot tendon. But I say to you, create your own stories, create your own successes, and one day you'll have an opportunity to tell them and inspire others. So take all of that with you as background as you start the next phase of your own amazing stories. Congratulations, class of 2026. We're extremely proud of you. Thank you.
Congratulations, Utah Virtual Academy class of 2026. You have reached an incredible milestone in your life, and it's been an honor to be a part of your education journey. Throughout your time at UTVA, you've shown what it means to keep going, even when things were hard. You stayed focused on your goals, rose above challenges, and continued moving forward. That takes grit, that takes heart, and that tells a lot about the person you are. You've also shown courage, whether it was logging in on difficult days, asking for help when you needed it, or staying motivated to finish strong. You did it. You made it here through determination, resilience, and strength. Now it's time for the next chapter. Whether you're heading to college, entering the workforce, serving in the military, or pursuing a different path, you are ready. You have what it takes to keep learning, growing, and inspiring those around you. We believe in you, and we cannot wait to see the impact you have on the world. Mr. Dallin Drescher, UTVA Board President, it is my honor to present to you the Utah Virtual Academy Class of 2026, and to certify that every graduate attending in person and virtually today who is presented with a diploma has met the graduation requirements established by the Utah State Board of Education. Congratulations.
Good evening, everyone. Before I begin, I'd be remiss if I didn't take a moment on behalf of the board to recognize our wonderful administrators, teachers, and all other staff of Utah Virtual Academy. Please join me in thanking them for all their great work. Now, I graduated high school from Layton High School up in Davis County, and I married my high school sweetheart, and she was the oldest of 5, and so I got to attend several graduations at my same high school after that for her siblings. And a couple years after we were married, we went to a graduation. I think I'd been graduated for about 4 years at this point, and there was a school board member there, as I am here today, and he gave a speech, and I was like enthralled by it. It was so captivating. It was advice that I felt applied to me in my life. And I turned to my wife and I said, man, where was this guy when we graduated? I could have really used this. And she kind of smirked at me and she said, Dallin, that's the same school board member that spoke at our graduation, and I think he gave the exact same speech. So I will understand if you don't remember anything I say. Nonetheless, I do want to share just a few words. I'll keep it brief so you can get to these diplomas. I'm not going to stand up here and tell you that this is the beginning of the rest of your life, to follow your dreams or dare to be great or any of those other platitudes that are great and sound profound but somehow say nothing at all. Instead, I want to give you 3 pieces of advice that I try to remember in my life and have helped me in the everyday struggle that is life itself. The first is to call your loved ones, especially your parents. The second is to do your laundry. And the third is to do good. Now call your loved ones, especially your parents. And before you roll your eyes at me, just bear with me. Somewhere in these seats today are people who have driven you crazy for 18 years probably. They set curfews, they ask too many questions, they embarrass you in front of friends more times than you can count. But here's what you may not understand yet. As much as they are excited for today and have looked forward to this for a long time, they are also absolutely terrified right now. Not because they don't trust you, but because they love you so much it physically hurts. You're about to walk out those doors and not need them in the same way anymore. You don't have to call every day, but call. Not just when you need money or when you're sick or when something went wrong. Call on a Tuesday for no reason. Call on your Wednesday morning commute. Call when something funny happened or when you're proud of yourself and want someone who has always believed in you to know about it. Those calls mean more to them than you will ever understand, and they will bring more strength to you than you will ever understand. And one day, decades from now, you'll be the one waiting for the phone to ring from them. The second is to do your laundry. Now, this is about something bigger than just clean clothes. The world that we all live in does not make it easy to take care of ourselves. There are deadlines and obligations and people who need things from you constantly. I promise a day will come where one more text message or email makes you want to throw your phone in a river. And it is genuinely tempting to let the basic stuff slide. The laundry, the sleep, the groceries, the doctor's appointment you've been putting off. Don't let it slide. Taking care of yourself is not selfish. It is the foundation for everything that you do. You can't pour from an empty cup. Do the laundry, go to bed on time, drink some water, eat some real food. These are not small things. And the secret to doing this is that the discipline of doing the small things and showing up in your own life translates to success in every other aspect of your life. The people who show up quietly and consistently are the ones who get things done. Meanwhile, there are millions of people who are always just one step away from starting. The last thing I try to remember is to do good. Notice I say do good and not do well. Now, what I mean by that is so much of our life is measured by accomplishments. In school, it might be the test score or the grade or a certificate, and those are all wonderful things. As you move into career, you'll search for more degrees and titles and money and fame and recognition. And it's not that those things aren't important, but I believe that the joy you'll feel from your life is directly correlated to the amount of good you put into it. You're going to have countless opportunities, most of them small, to make a choice about the kind of person you want to be, to speak up or to stay quiet, to help or to walk past, to be honest when it would be easier not to be. The world doesn't need you to solve everything or major, massive problems that we hear about on the news. It needs you to just do something in your neighborhood, in your work, and how you treat the people around you on an everyday Wednesday. A life of doing good isn't built on grand gestures. It's built on thousands of small ones that are so routine, they barely feel like choices anymore. It just becomes who you are. That's the goal. Make decency a habit and do good. So, call your parents, do your laundry, do good, and if you remember those things, I'm confident that success will come. It's not complicated, it's just not always easy. But you're ready, and the fact that you're here today is proof of that. Now, on behalf of the Utah Virtual Academy Governing Board, I'm pleased to accept this graduating class of 2026 and issue my congratulations to all of you.
All right, graduates, it's time. Please rise. And beginning with the back row, single file, exit to the left, and prepare to receive your diplomas.
Allie Carlson. Just a second. Danica Hidalgo. Camden Johnston. Clara Day. Tayana Martinez. Jose Sanchez Hernandez. Brandy Sylvester. Cabry Ellswood. Safira Stewart. Taya Wild. Nalia McCall. Ashton Hested. Camilla Sosa. Daniel Wright. Abigail Magayan Curiel. Brianna Bergen. Andrew Wright. Lander Hart. Alexander McMickle. Michaela McClellan. Shaylee Briner. Christian Moore. Katie Witt. Francesca Rose Espinoza. Brianna Kenny. Skylar Birch. Javon Blackwell. Boston Kaylee. Lily Krolak. Jonathan Wiley. Julius Santiago Sanborn. Jules Santiago Sanborn. Sarah Lucero. Camille Mangum. Brent Bentley. Dante Salisbury. Brianna Nielsen. Elizabeth Anderson. Sladen Erickson. Taya Lyken. El Dai Martinez Sanchez. Janelli Lopez. Angelica Flores. Amy Nielsen. Gabrielle Robinson Hanchett. Sean Michael Edler. Robert Ralston. Pablo Dominguez. Aiden Garrissey. Hunter Dippo. Lorenzo Tafoya. Slada Didier. Dalton Johnson. Carlia Carey. Emily Baker. Lily Lowe. Audrey Tree. Cheyenne Allen. Andy Lynn Peterson. Wait, right here. I got this, dude. Okay. Jonathan Cragen. Chelsea Humphreys. Violet Payton. Jason Mazer. Miley Larson. Azariah Dowdy. Alexander Ragsdale. Brooklyn Talbot. Halima Hussein. Savannah Ormond. Emma French. Olivia McCleary. Isaiah Guzman. Cosmo Demirs. Alexis Slaughter. Mackenzie Lott. Brooklyn Bettinson. Shayna Stewart. Caleb Small. Jaden Reston. William Bishop. Jasmine Shaw. Adrian Estrada. Jordan Christensen. Kian Farr. Justin Haskins. Kiana Kim. Serenity Steed. Shyla Anderson. Ian So. Eric Smith. Tristan Pettit. Heidi Olavison. Yvonne Salgado Fuentes. Ashley Johnson. Emilio Silva. Landon Young. John Stubbert. Caden Mon. Madison Mon. Addison Borg. Jordan Flake. Devin Dennis. Blaze Key. Isabel Dobrakis. Raider Ricks. Chloe Barney. Shelby Dolada. Coleman Kelly. Alan Enrique Romero Hernandez. Selena Hutchings. Cohen Reed. Brinley Coomer. Natasha Montilla. Shayla Torres. Mathina Toa. Faith Smith. Anthony Uriarte. Brooklyn Durr. Camille Fisher. Zachary Call.
Graduates, you may take your tassels and move them from the right to the left. Congratulations. I'd just like to reiterate the gratitude and thankfulness for every single person in this room that made today possible. Thank you again for your commitment to our 202 graduates. This day is not possible without the whole institution and support network. Thank you, everyone. I wish you all the safest travels as you go about whatever is next. Dinner, celebration, do all the celebrating. We will exit the facility. Graduates, you will exit first, the same way you just exited to go backstage. We'll let the graduates exit, and you'll head straight outside where you can meet your families for all the celebrations to come. Thank you again, and congratulations, class of 2026.